Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm doing a TikTok animation tutorial.
This is going to be a comprehensive review. My name's
Shut up!
Technically, it's not animation, but you have to use After Effects, which is an animation software. At least that's how I'm going to teach you how to do it. You can do it on Premiere Pro, but it's a lot faster on After Effects because After Effects is more designed to do stuff like this. Just a quick introduction, because I know a lot of people that are tuning into this would not know anything about video editing and just makes TikToks off their phones. You can't necessarily do this with an app on your phone. So that's the only downside. What we're essentially trying to do is we're going to try and track our faces. Now, what do I mean by this? I'm going to show you two examples, of more or less the same trend. I stole one video from, one of our very own Sri Lankan influencers and TikTokers named Senali. He's very popular, big fan. I hope you don't mind I stole your video, but I am gonna, use it to make this. The one on the right has a bit of something to it that, the one on the left doesn't. And I'm not talking about, video quality and stuff, because, one is definitely shot by high-end cameras and the other one is, shot using a phone. And I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, the dynamics of the video. If you take a closer look, the one on the right, the face always stays in this exact same position on screen. Senali's video, because she's dancing around, the camera staying still. Her face moves around the screen because she's dancing. Now, it might seem like somebody is just, moving the camera while shooting for, the video on the right, but essentially it's being done through software. So that's what we're going to replicate today, right? So go ahead, jump onto After Effects. I'm going to give you a quick run through of the screen that you're looking at right now. At the bottom, you have, the timeline. That's where all your footage is going to be laid out, and then you have the window that should your display window. I don't know what it's called. That's all you need to know. Drag and drop your footage onto the timeline. It will automatically create a composition for you. If you don't know what a composition is, it doesn't really matter at this point, because it's it's TikTok. You just really want to get in there, get it over with, and just export it and upload it, right? So you drag and drop it onto the timeline. And what you're going to do is you're going to right click on the timeline and just go down to new and select null object. Now, again, doesn't really matter what this is. All you need to know that, okay, you need to create a null object, and as you can see, just above your footage, there's going to be another layer, a red layer. Ignore it for now, right? So what you want to do is you want to select the footage layer, the one that I know I should have named it better, but the layer that has all these numbers in it, that's Senali's video. That's what I downloaded off TikTok. What you want to do is go onto the right hand side bar on After Effects, and you're going to see a tab called Tracker, and just click it and it drops down and gives you a number of options. Again, don't get confused. You're just trying to get through this really quick. What you need to focus on is the button that says track motion, right? As soon as you click it, make sure when you're clicking these things, make sure that you're not clicking all over the place. So once you click on track motion, you're going to see a tiny box appear. Drag this box right on top of the middle of the face. Preferably the nose is always the best place to put it. You can put the inside of it. We can zoom in a little bit more. You can adjust these boxes. Make sure that your nose is fitting within the tiny box. And, the other box has a decent space around it, right? So now that you have set it up exactly like this, where the tiny box is on the nose and the bigger box is somewhere around the eyes and the face and the mouth, let's go and take a look at the tracker panel again. Okay, again, don't get confused. Don't touch on anything, but at the very bottom next to analyze, you're gonna see 4 buttons, right? There's 2 backward buttons and a play button and a forward button. So click on the play button, right? And make sure that even though you click on the play button, look at what's happening on the screen. After Effects is pretty clever in figuring out what to track. So 7 times out of 10, it's going to track that point pretty seamlessly. But as as we are not using high cameras, we're using our phone footage, at some point it's going to jump, just like it jumped right there. And now, the box is landing on Senali's cheek. So what you want to do is immediately hit the stop button, and then the process stops. So what you want to do now is use page up and page down, right? When you hit page up, that marker is going to move backwards on the timeline, and you hit page down, it's going to move forward. So hit page up continuously until it comes to the point where that box again reappears on the face, which is exactly this point, right? So now, once this happens, hit page down, it's going to jump a frame, and then all you have to do is click on the box middle box and drag it towards the nose, right? And then once you do that, hit page down again. Do the same thing. Be careful when you're dragging the box. Make sure you're dragging the box, and once you click, you see that magnification thing come up, right? That's when you can move it freely. So keep hitting page down up until the point where you hit the stop button on the timeline and readjust it, right? So once you have it, or once you've readjusted it, again, go ahead and hit the play button, and it's going to track forwards again. And then keep an eye on it to see if it jumps around, right? So I'm going to really quickly do this for you a little faster so that you guys don't have to watch through this. So all I'm doing is hitting page down, moving the box, hitting page down, moving the box, hitting page down, moving the box. And then when it comes to the point where I stop, analyzing the whole scene, then click on play again and analyze forward again. Now you can go frame by frame, it'll obviously take a little bit longer. But if you have, a good quality video, and if it's not that, bad, if it's very lit, you can use this, analyze forward play button instead of going frame by frame. As soon as you're done with that, it's about a 15-second video usually on TikTok, so you don't have to worry, or you don't have to track too many frames. But once you're done with that, again, you need to go back to the tracker panel again. Again, it's going to be confusing, but all you have to do is make sure you click on edit target. And once you've done that, you need to make sure that the layer that you're selecting is the null layer that you created before. Remember that layer that you created like at the beginning of this video? Now you're gonna need it, right? So select that and then go and hit apply, right? So when you hit apply, you wanna make sure that you apply the X and Y coordinates. It doesn't matter whether you understand what X and Y coordinates are, just make sure you select that, right? And hit OK again, and it's gonna assign all that data that it just analyzed to this null layer, right? What you need to do next is convert your footage or your video layer into a 3D object. Why doesn't really matter right now. All you need to know that, okay, you need to create it into a 3D layer, because right now it's just 2D. The default setting on any layer on After Effects is 2D, right? So once you click on that, you also want to go and enable this other checkbox, which is essentially something called motion blur, right? So when the camera is moving, it gives a bit of a realistic blurriness to your footage, right? Now what you have to do is, once you have all of these things set up, right click on the timeline, go to new and click on camera, right? So once you click on the camera, bring it in between the footage layer and the null layer. So the reason you created a 3D layer is because the camera will affect only 3D layers underneath it, right? So all you have to do is click on this swirl mark and hold, press and hold, which is essentially called the pick whip in After Effects, and grab it and drop it on the null layer like so. So you're essentially like connecting with it with that virtual string, right? So what this does is the camera layer is going to move identical to the null layer. So if you move the null layer, the camera layer is going to move. That's the principle, but you don't really need it right now. As soon as you do that, as I hit play, you're going to see, okay, this image is moving around, and you're going to see black bars on the top and the left and the right. This is something that you need to keep in mind before recording, right? If you're going to do something like this, you need to make sure there's enough and more headspace on the video on either side and the top and the bottom, so that when you apply this effect and the camera is moving around, it's not revealing the edges of the video, right? Now in this video it's a little bit tight, and as you can see, you're seeing the edges of the video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go onto Photoshop and quickly use the content aware fill and extend the borders a bit on Photoshop, because Senali's video is pretty straight, and nothing in the video in the back is moving except for her, so it's pretty easy to extend it using an image. So I'm going to quickly go on Photoshop, extend the backgrounds, and come and put it in the back of this video, so when the camera is moving around and it's moving the image around, you're not going to see black edges. Once you've done that and brought the image in underneath, obviously you have to put it again underneath, because that's how After Effects prioritizes its visibility. Once you put it underneath the footage and bring and align it properly, make sure that that layer also has the previously mentioned checkboxes, the 3D checkbox and also the motion blur checkbox enabled, because once you enable that, both layers are going to move in tandem, right? That's pretty much it, and the results are pretty amazing. As you can see, in Senali's prior attempt, or in Senali's first attempt, her face is moving around the display. But if you take a look at her face now, it's all going to be in one place while the camera is moving the image so that they like cancel each other out, and Senali's face is always in one spot, which gives it that parallax kind of effect in these TikTok videos, which is pretty cool. And that's pretty much it. It's a bit of a complicated process, I know, but if you follow it step by step, and like if you just rewind back if you miss something, and start from scratch, because After Effects can be a little intimidating at first, but it's all pretty straightforward stuff. So have fun with it. I hope you guys can use it in your videos, and yeah, I'll speak to you guys in the next one.